the atmosphere was filled with worship. We were just worshiping God and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, here comes this little short Pakistani man comes out on the platform with a white suit on. And when he walks on the floor, people are getting up out of wheelchairs. People got crutches, they're dropping them. People that have neck braces on are throwing them off. And I used to say to God, this man has got some crazy anointing, because I ain't never seen nothing like this. But the reality is their expectation is in him. That when he comes on, he's going to bring God. Yes, come on. And that's why people in your church don't respect your ministry, because they don't like you. And let me tell you what you do. You alter your ministry to make them like you. And then God doesn't like you. Y'all ain't talking to me. Come on, you sing, you psalmists, you sing. How come you always sing slow songs? We don't like them slow songs. And well, they don't like slow songs, so I'm gonna sing what suits them. They want to hear, they want to hear hippity hopping, so I'm gonna give the people what they want to hear. Then when you give the people what they want to hear, the people say, oh, I like you. Then God says, but I don't like you, because that's not the assignment that I gave you. And so what you did was you altered my assignment to fit people, and you didn't worry about me.
My God.
And so then how anointed can you be when you're operating out of the assignment God gave you? Because where does your anointing come from? Do you really think God's going to anoint you to do something he told you not to do? Y'all ain't talking. This class, talk to me. You really think God's going to put a grace on you to do a job that he did not tell you to do? For all the people that's out of whack prophetically, you cannot tell me that you're seeing miracles if God never told you to speak them. If that's the case, then you're force-feeding God's hand. You're forcing his hand to do what you want him to do. And how many of us in here wish we could force God to do what we want him to do? Y'all ain't saying that. I need to marry Halle Berry. I need a house in Scarsdale. Y'all ain't talking to me. If we can force him to do what we want to do, I need to drop this weight. I need an 8-pack. I need all that kind of stuff. If we can force God's hand to do, I need this church to be built from the ground, paid for, no mortgage. Talk to me. If we can force his hand. If we can force his hand with something small, don't you think we can force it with something big? And so obviously God won't give you the mis-expectation of forcing with something small, because then you will try to move on to something bigger. Wow. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. And so you alter your assignment to fit people, and then you become frustrated when it's ineffective. It's ineffective because it's not what God told you to do. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. But I was trying to make the folk happy, and I was trying to listen to the people. When has God ever told anybody, listen to the people? Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. That's one of the things about pastors. All the pastors in the house, let me see your hand. Hey. All the pastors in the house, at least one of you are married. Bishop Thomas is married. His wife is a nice gift. She's a prophet. But even with her being a prophet, there comes a time he can't listen to her. Yes, I'll take you to a journey about a prophet that listened to another prophet say that God said do a thing, and it wasn't what God told him to do. And so God let a lion eat him up in the way, because he disobeyed the voice of God for his life, listening to another prophet's voice. Now talk to me. And so there comes a time that you got to totally walk alone. People won't understand. People won't agree with it. They won't like it. They won't co-sign with it. And church folk, Negroes, when they don't co-sign with what you do, they won't give offering, they won't come, they won't participate in worship. Y'all ain't talking to me. They won't speak to you. They'll shout all over your feet. Come on, talk to me. And then you know what else they're going to do? They're going to start that Absalom spirit. They're going to talk one person against you, and then one person going to talk that next person against you. And before you know it, the whole church is against you. So what do? You conform. That's so good to me, Master. You conform to the way of the world. I know it's inside of the church, but it's still the way of the world. Be not conformed to this world. He's not talking about just the street, y'all. It's a mentality. It's a system. And most of us have conformed to the world in the church. Because you didn't obey God. Y'all ain't talking to me. Come on. And so he says to him, he says, who do men say I am? I think this is an interesting point here. I think it's a paradox, and it's a school of thought we need to deal with for a couple of seconds. Number one, you shouldn't care what men say you are. Number two, you need to care what men say you are. Number one, this is who the men say I am. You shouldn't care what men are saying about you. But number two, you need to care what men are saying about you. Number one, I don't care what men say because I got an assignment from God. I have a responsibility to answer God. I got a responsibility to do what God is telling me to do. I got a responsibility, and I got to report back to God what God told me to do. Amen. That's a good school of thought, right? Yeah. But then here's the other school of thought. You got to report back to God. You got an assignment to do. You got a work to do. But if we don't like you, how effective can you be in your assignment? You can't be rude, nasty. You can't be harsh to people. You can't be, come on, one of those people that's always confrontational. And then I don't care what nobody say. They're going to listen to what I say, or they ain't going to worry about it. No. In ministry, sometimes you got to learn. Here's what the Apostle Paul said. I became all things that I might win some. Yeah. I'm not going to win everybody. All y'all female preachers in the house, let me see your hands. Come on, let me see your hands. All y'all that preach the gospel, come on, let me see your hands. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Especially you, Kiana, don't be scared. Lift your hands up. Let me see your hands, because I'm about to say something real good that's going to bless you. You have an assignment to preach. You got a call to preach, right? You got a call to preach. God birthed you. He created you. He called you to preach. But the assignment to preach is at Chauncey Street Apostolic Church. And you have spent good money to get your hair done. And they tell you to cover your head. And you say, I'm not covering my head. I done spent $300 on my weave. I don't believe in that. You have just made null and void what God gave you an assignment to do. Because you didn't care what people say. Y'all ain't talking to me. Y'all ain't talking to me. I don't believe in that religious spirit. But what about the download of the word that you got? Yes. Y'all ain't saying that to me. You know how many times that happens? Huh? You tell some of these preachers, some of these, I won't say none of the prophets that are here. You tell some of them, put your robe on. But Bishop, I don't like no robes. That's so old school. Well, just cover up, because you want to be presentable for people. People don't preach in no robe no more. And so now the word you got, that's good to me. Now the word you got is going to become outdated. Because it's got to be put on the shelf until you conform to the mentality of God, or be transformed by your mentality to realize that it's not about you, it's about what God called you to do. And by the time you do put on the robe, don't leave it at the robe. I'm not talking about that. By the time you do put on the robe, the word he gave you 5 years ago is now outdated. You have wasted time because you didn't care what people said about you. Y'all ain't talking to me. Huh? All of y'all folk that, it's a new thing, and I ain't talking about you, mama, because you look nice, that leopard and all that stuff. You can wear your breasts out, you can wear tight stuff, you got your panty line showing. This is mentorship class. We're going to do all that kind of stuff. You got all that kind of stuff that's showing because, hey, you can look sexy in ministry. You can do all this kind of stuff in ministry. You have just made null and void what God called you to do. And so no matter how much time you spend looking beautiful, I have to tell you, you don't know who you are. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Because clothes should make you who you are. Amen. It's what's going to come out of your mouth and out of your spirit that's going to determine who you are. Amen. Y'all ain't saying that to me. That's what's wrong with the church. How can you sit on the side of a seashore and look inside the water and say that's a porgy, that's a spot, that's a trout? Come on, help me some other fish. I don't eat fish like that. That's a whiting, salmon, tilapia. They made it in the farm. That ain't real fish. Come on, help me. You gonna sit outside and just look at something and pinpoint what it is? No, you have got to pull it out of the water. You got to clean. You got to identify it before you clean it. That's what's wrong with us. Most of us have been clean and we have never been identified. And cleansing without identification equals a frustrated Christian.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's good.
We were a whitey, and they left the head on and the bone in. Mama Douglas, no, you can't eat no whitey like that. You leave the head on and the bone in a spot, in a porgy. But a whitey, you take their head off and you pull that bone out. And what the church has done, they didn't identify us. They threw us in the basket, in the net, with all of the fish. And now we are a fish sitting in a puddle of other fish, frustrated because they didn't identify us correctly. They just called us a fish. And most of us are fish out of water. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. No, you feel like you don't fit in your church. You want to speak in tongues and they doing hymn number 365. You want to prophesy and your pastor telling you, I don't want y'all talking to nobody. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Because you either cared what man said, or you either didn't care what man said. Do y'all see the paradox? Huh? You see the paradox? That you have an assignment to do, but you also got to realize you're assigned to people, to humans. Yeah? And you can't force your gifting on anybody. That's why you got to know who you are before you. Let me give you a powerful statement right here. You ready for this? Ready for this? I'll use just us that's in this room. 90% of us in this room started using our gift before we knew what it was. You were seeing, you were dreaming, you were saying stuff to people. Y'all ain't talking to me in here. You didn't even know what it was. You would be up all night carrying people in your spirit, praying for them. You ain't saying nothing to me. Some folk, you walk in the church and speak to them and just, what you crying for? I don't know, I feel like crying for you. You don't know that God put a burden of intercession in you? Hello, talk to me. Sometimes you be sitting there just, can I sing you a song? And no, you can't sing, but the Lord is giving you their release through a song. I'm talking good, and y'all ain't saying nothing to me. And you was operating in this thing and never even knew what it was. You know what you were? You were a fish out of water. And they threw you in the pile and said, we're going to take your head off and bone out of this one. And didn't know you was